Touchdown, Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
Welcome into the process, Crimson Tide Recruiting. I am the lead scouting and recruiting analyst, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Justin Smith. For those of you who may not know, the process is Touchdown Alabama Magazine's premier recruiting show. You guys can check out the process every Monday and Wednesday on Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube page. So be sure to subscribe to Touchdown Alabama's YouTube to stay updated on Alabama football recruiting and the process. On the latest episode of the process, I got a chance to talk with Alabama's former defensive tackle, Reggie Grimes. I got a chance to talk to him about his career and about his son's four-star defensive end, Reggie Grimes II, recruitment. You guys can check out that interview and the latest episode of the process on Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube page as well. In this episode of the process, I wanted to pick out some recruits who are currently very high on the tide. I'm going to break down where their recruitment stands at the moment and some of the things I've seen from those particular guys on film. But before I get the chance to talk about that, I want to give you guys some quick updates. You guys can check out some recent interviews I did on TouchdownAlabama.com. Pick up a subscription to TouchdownAlabama.com and check out those pieces. I got a chance to talk with Alabama's four-star defensive back, Malachi Moore, recently. I talked to him about his selection to the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game and also about his senior season so far. I also got a chance to talk with five-star outside linebacker and Alabama commit and Jacksonville product, Quandarius Robinson, about his senior season and some of the things that he plans to work on to make sure he gets back to 100%. For those of you who may not know, Robinson did suffer a lower body injury, but it's not a serious injury, so he does plan to be back on the field or on the basketball court depending on how his team finished the football season. So you guys can check out that particular interview and those interviews exclusively on TouchdownAlabama.com. So be sure to pick up a subscription and check out those pieces. To get the show started today, I wanted to discuss Alabama losing a commitment from three-star offensive lineman Xavier Hill out of Olive Branch High School in Olive Branch, Mississippi. I'm going to talk about what his decommitment means for the Tide moving forward. So with that being said, let's get the process started. Reports began to surface on Thursday that Alabama lost the commitment of three-star offensive lineman Xavier Hill out of Olive Branch High School in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Hill is a kid who's going to go on to play Division I football, most likely for his home state of Mississippi. Most likely he will go to Mississippi State. But when you look at Alabama's current roster, in the fact that they still have two offensive linemen committed in the 2020 recruiting class, they're not really in trouble because I feel that the offensive line group was not particularly a priority for Alabama in the 2020 recruiting class. I know that some fans may feel that it needs to be a priority with the way that Alabama's offensive line has played at times during the season, but Alabama pulled in a large haul of offensive linemen in the 2019 recruiting class with guys like Evan Neal, Pierce Quick, and Darian Dacourt, a couple more guys, Turner Bosa, name a few. But that 2019 recruiting class had a large haul, and Alabama will possibly not lose that many guys to the NFL draft at the end of the season on the offensive line. So that's the reason why this is not a huge loss for the Tide, considering the fact that the offensive line position was not a priority. But the offensive line is a group where you want to constantly reload and constantly bring guys in, and Alabama does not usually have a shortage of offensive linemen, and they want to make sure that does not happen in the future. So a couple guys I think to look out for is, one of those guys is a guy who got invited to one of Alabama's recent games when they hosted Ole Miss. Alabama staff has been trying to get him on campus for a couple of weeks now throughout the season. And that guy is 6'7", 310-pound offensive lineman, offensive tackle Brady Ward, who Nick Saban expressed to Ward that he reminded him of former Alabama offensive lineman and a guy who moved around Alabama's offensive line a lot, Brady Bozeman. So you guys can check out an interview I did with Brady Ward exclusively on TouchdownAlabama.com, where he talked about his interest in Alabama and also how his visit went to Ole Miss. So I think Brady Ward is a guy to look out for as far as Alabama possibly recruiting more offensive linemen. So I feel that this is not a huge loss for the Tide, although Xavier Hill will go on to play Division I football, most likely in the SEC. So Alabama will definitely most likely see him in the future. So I don't think this is a huge loss for Alabama, but nonetheless, it is a loss, and Alabama will deal with it accordingly, possibly adding on another offensive lineman or possibly adding on some players at other positions with their 2020 recruiting class at the tail end. So as I said earlier, I'm going to use this show to talk about some recruits in the 2020 recruiting class who are currently very high on the Tide. So that's what we're going to go to next. I now want to talk about some guys in the 2020 recruiting class who I feel are very high on the Tide. And the first guy I want to talk about is the 4-star defensive tackle out of McErchin High School in Powder Springs, Georgia. His name is Jahmil Burroughs. He was verbally committed to the Georgia Bulldogs, and even when he was committed to the Bulldogs, Alabama continued to push for him, and he constantly brought up that Alabama was still in the running and still was a team he possibly could choose at the end. And ever since he decommitted from the Bulldogs, Alabama has become a big-time favorite for the Georgia Bulldogs. When you look at Jahmil Burroughs, he's a guy that stands at 6'2" and weighs 330 pounds. One of the things that really stands out to me about Burroughs is the fact that when he comes to make a tackle, he breaks down and he spreads his legs, which is something you like to see out of a defensive tackle, and it's something you like to see out of any defensive player who is preparing to make a tackle. Because when you come to make a tackle, when you spread your feet and bend your knees, you almost look like you're a basketball player playing defense, which is why basketball players get in that stance, they can move sideline to sideline. And when you have a defensive player get down in their position, it's hard for a ball carrier to juke them. So that is something I really like out of Jahmil Burroughs, and I think that Alabama is in a good position with the defensive tackle, and I think that the Tide is the big time favorite to land Burroughs at this moment. I also think 4-star defensive end Reggie Grimes II is high on the Tide. I know I got a chance to talk with his father, Reggie Grimes, on the last episode of The Process, of which he talked about Reggie Grimes II recruitment, but I feel that Grimes is very high on the Tide because of obvious reasons. His dad did play there, his mom went there, so he has ties to Alabama. I'm pretty sure that he sees that the possibility possibly going on and following in his dad's footsteps. But outside of that, I also think that Grimes feels that he could flourish at Alabama. He also told me that one of the things he liked about Alabama is the fact that they know how to win and that they know that they have a winning tradition. I'm pretty sure that he grew up learning about that tradition with the fact that his dad did play at the University of Alabama. So I think that Grimes is very high on the Tide at the moment. As I said, when you look at Grimes, he's a kid who has a long body frame. He can rush off the outside, but he also can play multiple positions. You also can call him an athlete because he currently plays a little bit of running back for Ravenwood High School. And when he plays running back, you can tell that he has some good speed in the open field, and also could possibly play tight end at the next level with his frame and how big he is and the prototypical size that he has at the moment. I think that Reggie Grimes II is a guy who could possibly play multiple positions at the next level because he's so athletic and because he has the frame to fit multiple positions. So I feel that Reggie Grimes II is a guy that could be very high on the Tide at the moment. I feel that the Tide is in a good position with Grimes II at the moment, but Tennessee, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt are a few teams I feel who are also still in the hunt for Grimes. I know that Vanderbilt's a team who's sitting in the wings at the moment, but I definitely think they are in the running. South Carolina and Tennessee definitely are still in the running also. 5-star athlete Arik Gilbert out of Marietta High School in Marietta, Georgia is another Georgia product who I feel Alabama is in a good position with at the moment. Gilbert is a 5-star athlete, as I said, who can easily play tight end and wide receiver at the next level. And many people felt that Georgia was leading for Gilbert at one point, but now it looks as if Alabama has made a jump and possibly is leading for Gilbert at the moment. Alabama's tight end coach Jeff Banks has played a huge role in this, as he has expressed to Gilbert constantly that they plan to use the tight ends more in the future, and he also has expressed to Gilbert that they plan to use something similar to the way they use a former Alabama tight end. You can listen and watch Gilbert. I'm going to let you guys listen and watch Gilbert talk about what Jeff Banks has been telling him on the recruiting trail this was an interview that Gilbert did at the Nike opening regional heading into the summer in Atlanta.
Just the way that they prepare their guys, all their programs, they're like amazing. Obviously.
Are you pretty close to Coach Banks there?
Yeah, Coach Banks, we talk a lot.
What's his message to you?
You know how they had the tight end they had last year?
Coach Taylor?
Yeah, Irv Smith. He's saying that our games are similar, basically, so I would fit into that system perfectly.
So Alabama does plan to use him in a similar fashion to the way that they used their former tight end Irv Smith Jr. I know that Gilbert is a guy who could easily play wide receiver or tight end at the next level. He has the body frame for a tight end, but he also is fast enough to play wide receiver and line out wide and be a problem outside. So I think the fact that Alabama is using their wide receivers in so many ways and getting so many wide receivers that shine is something that is really standing out to Gilbert about Alabama. And I think that is something that possibly could lead to Alabama landing Gilbert. I think he likes what he sees out of Tua Tagovailoa and the rest of Alabama's wide receiver group and the rest of Alabama's offense. So when you look at Reggie Gilbert's tape, you can tell that he is the real deal. He definitely garners that 5-star rating for a reason. He has good vertical, he has speed, he has everything you want in a wide receiver or tight end. I think that Alabama is in a good position with this 5-star recruit. Thank you guys so much for watching this edition of The Process. That will do it for this episode. Hope you guys continue to watch The Process, as it will be available to be streamed every Monday and every Wednesday on Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube page. So be sure to subscribe to Touchdown Alabama's YouTube. Also pick up a subscription at touchdownalabama.com. As I said earlier, we will continue to crank out recruiting and exclusive interviews with some of Alabama's top commits and top targets. So be sure to pick up a subscription at touchdownalabama.com as well. Also download the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. It is available in all app stores across all platforms. So be sure to pick up a subscription and also download the app to touchdownalabama.com. As always, I am Justin Smith, the scouting recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine.
The process.